thank you all very much for coming to hear my talk. So as I just said, so my name is Gelderman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of this company called Monolith. As I just mentioned, I dropped out of university in my first year, and there was a reason for that. That was because we foresaw this. I foresaw this. Right now, there's literally a new economy being built out there. Like quite literally, it's an economy that isn't based fundamentally on the same structure that our economy is built today, which is built on laws, it's built on rules and regulations. Instead, this economy is being built on code. And that means that it is entirely transparent. It can be entirely transparent. It is automated and it is autonomous. More specifically, this is called the decentralized finance economy. It's not being built on Google Cloud. It's not being built on AWS, like 99% of the internet is. Instead, this is being built on the Ethereum network, which is a decentralized network on top of which you can deploy applications. And it's basically the way to think of Ethereum. It's like this great big world computer that everyone runs in synchrony. And these applications, you can deploy applications on top of it, and these execute exactly according to their code. And it is on this world computer that we've built this decentralized finance economy. The state of the decentralized finance economy today is this, that these are numbers I just pulled last night. Right now there exist about 6 or so decentralized exchanges, which literally mean that you can trade one asset for another without there being any human or any company in between. This is entirely done through about 1,000 lines of code. There are a growing array of assets being built on the Ethereum network, which are a lot of them stable, right? Like dollar or euro or pound or gold even, or other assets. There are decentralized lending protocols which are just coming out. This is like the frontier right now. And there's a very large group of developers. Now, the numbers I'm seeing on the internet are actually a lot larger than this. They're like 130,000 plus. But that, I think, is taken during when like Ethereum was in its peak about 2 years ago, or at least in its peak of like, interest, public interest. Now, if you were to plot out the states of the decentralized finance economy, the DeFi economy today, it kind of looks like this. So these nodes over here, these logos, are quite literally pieces of code that are, most of them, less than a few thousand lines long. And all the little dots are actually users. These are people that are using this decentralized finance economy on the network itself to interact with these protocols. And this is so this is how you plot it out. None of this existed about a year ago. Like only a year ago, maybe 1 or 2 of these things existed. None of these dots would have been here. The pace at which this economy is growing is just immense. An example, specific example, are the top applications are Maker, which is a decentralized token which is pegged to the dollar, so it's a stable currency token. There's no bank involved, there's no regulator involved. It was literally a bunch of people like ourselves who built this algorithm that runs on Ethereum that has made a stable currency token. This is Uniswap, which was built by one guy in France, which is the world's most popular decentralized exchange where people can trade one asset for another. Compound, which is a decentralized lending protocol. This is quite literally a protocol where what a bank traditionally does, which is take your money and then invest it in whatever they want, oil and gas and whatever, and then the returns they get on that, they pay their shareholders. Well, this protocol has done that without the bank being there, where quite literally, instead of the returns on your money going to shareholders, it goes to you yourself. And it is for this economy that Monolith our company, is building a consumer-grade banking experience that you could quite literally abandon the old finance world and live your normal day-to-day life in this next economy. Before I go on, to who here is this completely new? Okay, maybe who kind of knows about this already a bit? Okay, that's more than expected. That's good. Well done, geniuses. So, yeah, this is all quite literally the cutting edge. So, Monolith, as I said, is trying to wrap up this new decentralized economy into an experience that people can actually use day to day, right? We literally want to be able to replace your HSBC, your Monzo, right, whatever you have, with something that is fundamentally different from the foundations up than how all of that works, right? So fintech is amazing, and there were huge leaps for like user experience, right? But fundamentally, Monzo and Revolut and all these companies, they haven't actually changed anything about our economy. They're not actually changing the world. And it is this vision of this decentralized finance economy, right? This entirely transparent economy where anyone can participate, where it's all run on, where the only thing you have to trust is code rather than like, you know, a bunch of bankers or whatever. This is leading to a new world. And we want to be the company that allows you to actually choose for this. You could like literally exit the old world economy. And so to do that, we've had to like kind of look at how people live their day-to-day lives, right? So obviously, the way you interact with your finance today is you know, most of you will have an app, right? That's how you use your money, and you'll have, you know, you have a debit card with how you interact with the finance world around you. So that's literally what we've built. So I'll be able to demo it a bit later on. But for example, one of the things we've built is this: is a Visa debit card that directly connects, like, the traditional finance world, right, the Visa network today, with the Ethereum economy that exists out there, this decentralized finance economy. Our wallet, for example, we're the only company in the world that is trying to create this banking type experience without actually holding onto your money. So all of our users, we don't have their money. We can't access your money. And this is in contrast with every other similar financial experience out there, right? So like HSBC, if you have an account with them, they have your money, right? Monzo has your money, right? Even in the crypto industry, right? Like Coinbase, if you have a Coinbase account or an exchange account, right? Kraken or Bitstamp, they have your money, right? With Ethereum is so incredibly advanced that we can actually basically create this bank account experience without you having to give us your money. So all of our users hold on to their own money. It's called non-custodial. We don't hold custody of your money. And we do that through a smart contract rather than a key. Because if you store your funds in a key, right, some of you will have a Bitcoin wallet. If you store your funds in a key in a Bitcoin wallet, the moment you make a mistake, all your money is gone, right? You've all read the news over, you know, the last 6, 7, 8 years about people losing incredible amounts of money. I have a friend who lost about 20 million because he stored his funds in a key. With a contract, with a smart contract, you can program how your money is controlled. I'll be able to demo that a bit later. Yeah, a bunch of the stuff we've had to do to get to where we are today. So we have to get the regulator on our side because they definitely think we're quite crazy. So we went through the FCA sandbox, which is like a special program for companies like us to like demonstrate to the FCA that what we're doing, that we think what we're doing is quite good. And we actually passed with flying colors, or at least I like to think we did. They specifically said that because we were non-custodial, because we don't hold on to users' money, they themselves own it. That means that if we were to go offline tomorrow, if we went bankrupt or whatever, all of our users still had their money. And because of that, they called us elite for customer protection, because the FCA's, the Financial Conduct Authority's job is to like make sure that you know, Revolut doesn't do something wrong and everyone loses their money, right? That's basically their role, one of their roles. And so our system foundationally being like the opposite of that is was quite amazing. I won't talk about all of this. I'll just highlight that to show the FCA and Visa that we can do a good job, that we're trustworthy, we had to show them that we could do anti-money laundering protection, AML, on the blockchain. So this means that if we have a user, he has our app, right? He's sending in his money or whatever. Even though we can't actually physically take his money, we can't seize his money, we can, however, due to the magic of the blockchain, we can check it where it came from, right? The blockchain is entirely transparent, so we can see, oh, the user's money, you know, like we could literally look 10 steps back. You can't do this with traditional banking. If you have a Revolut account, Revolut can only see that, oh, your money came from HSBC. You can't see where your money came from before that. On the blockchain, we can do that. And so we argued to Visa and to the FCA that the blockchain ultimately will be better at money laundering protection than traditional finance. Yeah, a whole bunch of other stuff. 3 years of work. I'm very proud of my team. So, yes. We think that with a few more additions to our platform, right now our platform is like kind of built for people like myself who are like super into this stuff, who already have crypto. But we think with a few more additions to our platform, we'll actually be in a position where we can start to offer the decentralized economy to like normal people, to people out there on the street. And this is quite crazy. We're going to be the first company to do this. I call it a mini eureka moment. We think we're 6 months away from being able to offer essentially a trustless banking experience, right? Where you don't have to trust us as a company to do your banking. And this is all already real today. You can download our app. It's on the App Store, both App Stores. We have about 1,000 customers, 1,000 pioneers. I mean, these are literally the first people living a decentralized life on Ethereum, which is pretty cool. I love them all, but 1,000 is not a lot. I'm looking at all of you. But no, but seriously, the reality is that building something on Ethereum that is like futuristic and cool and decentralized and non-custodial isn't actually enough. Like, it's enough for me, it's probably enough for a whole bunch of you guys. But the reality is that most people need something more, right? They need to actually have a good reason to use this stuff. And so, this moment in time has actually happened a lot sooner than anticipated. So in the last half year, we've seen the birth of decentralized lending protocols. So these are programs that run on Ethereum. There's about 8 of them now, 6 or 7, 8, I'm not sure. That have literally that have coded up the function of what a bank would traditionally do, where basically you can lend out to these protocols, to these pieces of code on Ethereum. You can lend out your stable currencies, right? You can lend out your euros or your pounds or your dollars, and you can get compounding interest on them. So these are interest rates per year, per annum. And the reason these can be so high is because there is no bank in between them. There is no like intermediary company or whatever that's providing the service. This is literally you connecting straight with the person who's lending from you. Now, to be clear, all of these are frontier lending protocol, decentralized lending applications, which means that they're all collateralized. So that means that someone taking out money from this, they can't just randomly take out money because the protocol, would have no way to make sure they get, they pay back with interest. Instead, the way it works is to take out money, you actually have to put in collateral. You have to put up another asset which is worth more than the loan you're taking out. So this, in 2 years, for example, this could mean that if you have a token in your wallet that represents ownership of your house, and you wanted to take out a loan, you could literally go to one of these decentralized lending protocols, you could put in this house token as collateral and immediately get out like a £200,000 loan or whatever. That's pretty crazy. Now, here's the thing. These interest rates are, this exists today. This is live today. This is what the number was all about in the beginning. $750 million worth of like decentralized finance economy exists today. And these numbers are a lot higher than even the wildest dreams of like fintech or traditional finance, right? So that means that, you know, compared to Monzo or Revolut, they would all love to be able to offer people 7% interest on their dollars or euros. And so that's quite literally what we're about to do. So we can now, as the first company, to try and wrap up the decentralized finance economy into something that normal people can use. We can now start to, we're also going to be the first company that can offer the fruits of this decentralized economy to normal people. And the crazy thing is that so much sooner than we'd expected is the decentralized finance economy surpassing what traditional finance or fintech can do. And so, yeah, we don't know what this means, but it probably means the future is a lot crazier than most like the status quo today, and that's kind of exciting. So, yes, let me do a demo very quickly. Okay. Alright. So I'm only going to do a brief demo. This is our app, obviously. I have the most secret password ever. This is my personal wallet. Again, all the funds, all of these funds, my own company physically could do nothing to take this money from me, which is pretty crazy. So this is all held in my own control. And again, it's not stored in a key like traditional wallets. We're one of the 3 wallets that actually allows people to store their funds in a smart contract. So quite literally, on the Ethereum network, each of our users, when they sign up, they deploy onto the Ethereum network. They deploy their own piece of code, which kind of acts like this digital vault, this digital bank that holds their money. And you can program this digital bank yourself with these 2 functions. So the whitelist address and the daily send limits, so the 2 middle ones. The daily send limits, for example, you can set that up, and it hard codes into your smart contracts how much money can be released from your smart contracts every day. So that means that I've set it up to 5 ETH, which is actually quite a lot. But that means that if someone were to steal my everything, they could only rob from me up to 5 ETH a day, right? And this is something you can't do with a key, because with a key, if someone has access to your key, all your money is gone, right? You lose it all. With a contract, you can prevent this. And so, to complement that, we also have the whitelisted addresses, which are addresses that you can send any amount to. So I have a bunch of safe addresses that, in the case that someone basically has access to my money, I can withdraw everything else to one of the whitelisted addresses. Now, the demo I'll quickly give is showing how you can go from having money in your own control, having custodial ownership of your own money, to having it usable in the real world in about, well, we're going to see how long this takes. So it's the gamble, because it depends on the Ethereum network congestion. So let's see, we can do some ETH. Let's do 1 ETH. So confirm the Face ID. There we go. Now, I've literally sent an Ethereum transaction from my own wallet, from my own control, to basically the Monolith backend, right? Our top-up service, the car top-up service. The moment it has 1 block confirmation, it turns this into pounds and puts it on the card. So that takes about, well, we can quickly check out here, so it's already confirmed, one block confirmation for people who understand this type of stuff over here, which was very quick, thankfully. And that should mean, if I go back to the card screen, we should, sometimes it's going to blame some Visa network. Okay, so let's confirm here. It should. There we go. So just to reiterate, this is the only experience in the world today where you can go from having custodial control of your own money, you don't need any bloody bank, you don't need us, right? To having it usable in the real world in about, give or take 20 seconds. So that's, it's about enough time to, like, if you're like, there's one person in front of you at Pret, you can like pop up just in time. So now let me just finish my presentation. So, and our sign up is entirely through the app. What we've had to do is we've had to build essentially a challenger bank like Monzo or Revolut or whatever. We've had to build all of that, but at the same time we've had to build this Ethereum business, right? This whole back-end system that can interact with Ethereum. Yes. Just a second. Yeah, we're good. So, I want to thank my team. One of them is over here. And yeah, these guys embody the heart of rebellion. We think we're onto something big. We think that the type of society we can build, that this technology is starting to build, is going to lead somewhere crazy, probably somewhere a lot better. And so, yeah, fundamentally we think that there's a new societal paradigm at hand, right? This is the start of something that's so, that will displace the status quo. It'll displace the economy as it exists today. All the companies that probably don't love, but know and love. They're all going to go, and probably by the end of the next decade. And yeah, we think this is something good. The decentralized economy fundamentally is thriving, and yeah, we're pretty excited about that. In a way, it's beautiful. Thank you.